On a cold winter day in Kyiv, as snow blanketed the city's historic streets and the air was thick with anticipation, a sense of urgency filled the capital. The city, still bearing the scars of conflict, became the stage for a pivotal moment in the ongoing struggle for peace. Leaders and security advisors from across the globe arrived, their faces set with determination, gathering to confront the challenge of ending the long and devastating war with Russia. The world watched as these influential figures converged, each bringing their own hopes and strategies to the table. This was more than just another diplomatic meeting, it was a bold and unified push for peace as the new year began. A moment when the stakes could not have been higher. Every handshake, every signature, and every word spoken carried the weight of millions longing for an end to violence. The event, held in the heart of Ukraine's capital, sent a powerful and unmistakable message of solidarity to the Ukrainian people. It was a reminder that, even in the darkest times, the world had not forgotten their struggle or their resilience. Representatives from 15 allied nations, NATO, and the European Union stood shoulder to shoulder, united in their opposition to Russian aggression. Their presence was a testament to the strength of international alliances and the shared commitment to upholding Ukraine's sovereignty. The summit took place under tight security, with armored vehicles patrolling the streets and guards stationed at every entrance. The ongoing threat to Kyiv made the leaders' presence even more significant, highlighting their willingness to stand with Ukraine despite the risks. This summit was the first in a planned series of high-level talks, designed to build momentum and trust among the parties. The goal was clear: to lay the groundwork for a comprehensive peace agreement that could finally bring stability to the region. At the heart of the discussions was a U.S.-brokered framework, months in the making, which aimed to align the strategies of Ukraine's allies and reaffirm their unwavering support for Ukraine's independence. Detailed maps, charts, and peace plans were pored over as leaders debated the best path forward. Optimism ran high in the conference halls, with Ukrainian officials telling the press that a peace deal was nearly 90% complete. Yet, everyone knew that immense challenges remained: diplomatic hurdles, security concerns, and the need for continued unity among allies. As the summit concluded, there was a sense of cautious hope. This meeting marked a crucial first step toward ending the conflict on terms that respect Ukraine's independence and the will of its people, setting the stage for the difficult negotiations still to come. The Kyiv summit brought together a formidable group of diplomatic and security experts, each carrying the weight of their nation's hopes and expectations. In the heart of Ukraine's capital, the atmosphere was charged with urgency and cautious optimism, as the world's attention focused on the possibility of ending a devastating conflict. Senior advisors from Britain, France, and Germany participated directly, reflecting Europe's resolve to end the conflict through negotiation. Their presence signaled a unified European front, determined to use diplomacy as a tool for peace. These officials brought with them not only their government's positions, but also a deep understanding of the region's history and the complexities of the crisis. The United States, represented by Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, played a pivotal role in shaping the peace framework and ensuring Washington's support. Witkoff's involvement underscored America's commitment to a stable Europe and its willingness to work alongside allies to find a sustainable solution. His diplomatic experience was crucial in bridging gaps between differing perspectives at the table. Ukraine's chief negotiator, Rustem Umerov, carried the responsibility of defending his nation's interests and sovereignty. For Umerov, the stakes were deeply personal. He was not only representing Ukraine's government, but also millions of citizens longing for peace and security after years of turmoil. These leaders, European, American, and Ukrainian, formed the core team tasked with turning the idea of peace into reality. Their collaboration was a testament to the power of international cooperation, as they worked side by side to overcome mistrust and find common ground. Their discussions focused on hammering out the details of documents that could end the bloodshed and reshape Eastern Europe's security. Every clause, every word, was debated and scrutinized, as the negotiators sought to craft agreements that would be both fair and enforceable. The stakes were high. Their success or failure would impact not just Ukraine, but the entire international order. A breakthrough could inspire hope in other conflict zones, while a collapse might deepen divisions and prolong suffering. The talks were about more than theory. They were about forging a path to a real, lasting truce. Every handshake, every exchange, carried the possibility of a new chapter for Ukraine and its neighbors. The world watched, knowing the outcome would set a precedent for global security. As cameras flashed and headlines spread, the architects of a potential truce worked tirelessly, aware that history was being written in those very rooms. The summit's agenda was ambitious, reviewing and refining the framework for a lasting peace. Security advisors focused on actionable steps, including the withdrawal of Russian forces from all occupied Ukrainian territories. They mapped out a timeline for future talks, ensuring momentum would not be lost. Economic recovery was central. Rebuilding Ukraine and securing long-term financial support were seen as vital to peace. Reparations from Russia and investment in Ukraine's future were discussed as part of the plan. The consensus was that a peace deal was close, but final alignment on key details was essential. The aim? A proposal strong enough to win international backing and pressure Moscow to agree. The blueprint needed to be clear, credible, and ready for the next phase of negotiations. At the heart of the peace talks was Ukraine's demand for robust, legally binding security guarantees. Ukrainian officials, having witnessed the devastation of war firsthand, were determined to ensure that their nation would never again stand alone in the face of aggression. The memory of past invasions and the ongoing threat from hostile neighbors made these guarantees not just a diplomatic formality, but a matter of survival for the Ukrainian people. Kyiv insisted on concrete commitments from allies, immediate military and financial aid if attacked again. This was not just about promises on paper, but about real, actionable support that could be mobilized at a moment's notice. Ukrainian leaders pressed for clear timelines and mechanisms so that in the event of renewed conflict, help would arrive without delay or hesitation. The goal was to establish a security architecture similar to NATO's collective defense, where an attack on one would be considered an attack on all. Such a system would serve as a powerful deterrent, signaling to any potential aggressor that Ukraine was not isolated, but firmly backed by a coalition of committed partners. While full NATO membership remains a long-term goal, interim guarantees would provide immediate deterrence. These temporary measures, though not a substitute for full alliance membership, would bridge the gap and offer Ukraine the protection it urgently needs during this critical period. Allies discussed specific obligations, ensuring any future aggression would be met with a swift, overwhelming response. Detailed plans were drawn up, outlining how military, intelligence, and logistical support would be coordinated in the event of a crisis, leaving no room for ambiguity. Economic support was also key. Investment in Ukraine's defense and economy to build resilience. International partners pledged not only to help Ukraine defend itself, but also to rebuild and modernize its infrastructure, ensuring long-term stability and prosperity. The approach aimed to make Ukraine self-sufficient and secure, a fortress of democracy on Europe's eastern flank. By strengthening its institutions and military, Ukraine could stand as a bulwark against authoritarian threats, inspiring hope for freedom across the region. President Zelensky's government made clear no deal would be accepted that left Ukraine vulnerable. The leadership's resolve sent a strong message to both allies and adversaries. Ukraine's sovereignty and security were non-negotiable. The focus was on a permanent, durable peace, backed by the full might of Ukraine's partners. Only through unity, commitment, and unwavering support could a lasting shield for Ukraine be forged, ensuring peace for generations to come. Despite progress, the dispute over territory remains the biggest obstacle to peace. Russia, occupying about 20% of Ukraine, refuses to relinquish control, especially over the Donbass. For Ukraine, ceding land is a non-starter, seen as a betrayal and a dangerous precedent. Ukrainian leaders argue that rewarding aggression would only invite future invasions. True peace, they insist, requires restoring Ukraine's internationally recognized borders, including Crimea. This fundamental disagreement is why, despite a nearly complete peace plan, the war continues. Allies in Kyiv know a breakthrough on territory is essential for real progress. Until a solution is found that respects Ukraine's integrity, peace remains out of reach. The territorial issue is the chasm that must be bridged for any agreement to succeed. The Kyiv meeting launched a fast-paced diplomatic push for peace. Next, a summit of European leaders in France, aiming for unified endorsement of the peace framework. A strong European position is crucial to give the proposal global weight. Leaders will review Kyiv's progress, address concerns, and coordinate for the final phase. The ultimate goal: a leadership-level peace summit in the United States before month's end. This final summit would bring heads of state together to finalize and sign the agreement. The multi-stage approach is designed to build unstoppable momentum for peace. Each meeting is a step toward a broad international coalition and a lasting end to the war. Even as diplomats met in Kyiv, the war raged on. Russian attacks continued. Missiles and drones struck cities and infrastructure across Ukraine. Fighting remained intense, especially in the east and south, with Russia pushing for more territory. Ukrainian authorities ordered evacuations in threatened regions, highlighting the ongoing danger. The humanitarian crisis deepened, with millions displaced and essential services destroyed. The Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant's recent disconnection underscored the ever-present risk of disaster. President Zelensky made clear diplomacy does not mean surrender. Ukraine will defend itself if talks fail. For Ukraine, the violence proves Russia's true aim is conquest, not negotiation. Amid war and diplomacy, President Zelensky reshuffled his government to strengthen leadership. He appointed Kirilo Budanov, military intelligence chief, as his new chief of staff, signaling a focus on security and integrity. The move followed the resignation of the previous chief of staff after a corruption scandal. Zelensky's changes aim to maintain public trust and reassure international partners of Ukraine's commitment to reform. Defense Minister Denis Shmyhal was tapped to oversee energy and serve as first deputy prime minister, streamlining crisis management. Ensuring energy stability is vital as Russian attacks target infrastructure. Regional leadership changes are also underway to strengthen governance on the front lines. These shifts are designed to fortify Ukraine's government for the difficult road ahead. The Kyiv gathering is more than diplomacy. It's a beacon of hope for millions. A successful peace deal means ending suffering, rebuilding lives, and restoring Ukraine's sovereignty. The goal: a just, durable peace that holds Russia accountable and secures Ukraine's future. Achieving this is vital for international law and the principle that borders cannot be changed by force. The territorial dispute remains the greatest challenge, with Russia showing little interest in compromise. Global distractions and unpredictable politics add to the complexity. Yet, the Kyiv talks and upcoming summits are a critical effort to choose diplomacy over endless war. The hope that unified pressure and a clear vision will finally bring Ukraine a lasting, secure peace.